I hate to break the fishing news after Ramchuck, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations. You're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Welcome in to episode 279. I almost called it the Oilers Nation pregame podcast. It is not. It is Nation Real Life, but you should check out that other podcast I just mentioned. This one is brought to you by Oodle Noodle, 14 locations in Edmonton, and one coming to Kingsway. That looked sick.
Kingsway, yeah, we're relocating one of our locations to Kingsway Mall, so it's an interesting opportunity for us to test the food court model.
Have you ever been in a food court? Like as Oodle Noodle, not you personally.
Me as Jay, yes. As Oodle Noodle, no. As JR.
The Big Turk food court.
Which location's moving?
Downtown 104.
Oh,
so
DT2.
its lease is up at the end of September, and we got offered an interesting opportunity in Kingsway, so we're relocating it to there, which will still allow us to serve post-pandemic bar crowd at our other downtown location.
Delivery hub downtown one
and delivery hub, so it's all good. But
pay attention, Nate people. Yeah. Pay attention. You know,
we can feed Nate. I used to go to Kingsway, so when I was at Nate, I used to walk over. I'd have like $12 or whatever, and I would go and I would have lunch, and then I would buy a sports select ticket. That was my routine.
It's a hell of a combo. Great. I used to always go to that Arby's that was there. RIP.
Oh, RIP a lot of Arby's, unfortunately. Yep. But back to Oodle Noodle. The thing I got to keep hammering home because they are launching, I think, tomorrow. So check out on the Skip the Dishes app and in store. Banana spring rolls are launching.
So let me ask you a question. Is this essentially, like in my head, this is what I was thinking, like a banana pancake Thailand style rolled up and deep fried?
Well, it's not far off of that, right? It's essentially, it looks like a spring roll. It's wrapped like a spring roll. It looks like a spring roll, but it's got delicious hot banana inside. That's what she said. And awesome Nutella dip.
I like that. I would murder a banana pancake right now. So I love the idea of this.
Yeah, it's exactly, it's very close to that. And that's like why it has to be.
Oh, yes. Who's that?
Hello on you.
Hello.
Do you guys have any of like the fake fruit flavors that drive you nuts? Like I like bananas, but I don't like the taste of like a banana smoothie. You know when it's like the fake, you can tell it's the fake banana flavoring. I don't like that. That drives me nuts.
Do you remember Mojo's? Yeah. Do you remember Mojo's as a chewy candy?
I love Mojo's.
Did you like banana Mojo's?
No.
Okay.
I don't like the fake flavoring.
I go the opposite way. I love like cherry cheesecake or like cherry like jam or anything cherry, but I cannot, like if you have a cherry in a Shirley Temple, they make me sick. I can't eat
those
like
maraschino cherries.
Those kind of cherries. I love like a good BC cherry with the pit in them, but I like absolutely love like cherry cheesecake. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Yet I hate cherries.
I could eat one jar of maraschino cherries in a sitting. I love those things.
I could eat a box of chocolate covered cherries.
Huh?
Or maraschino cherry. Not a maraschino cherries. That's what's inside. But anyways, chocolate covered cherries.
Yeah. That's interesting though. Yeah. Anyways,
same thing with grapes on the podcast lately.
Yeah, we have been. We're slowly turning into a food podcast.
Well, speaking of food, I just had a new to the Little Brick menu. Just had the turkey sandwich, and it was delightful.
The pictures on Insta look great.
The two menu items at Little Brick that I will never forget as long as I live are the time you guys did, I think it was an applewood smoked pulled pork sandwich.
Oh yeah.
That was fucking unbelievable. Like my mouth is like salivating thinking about it. And the mac and cheese. I love that mac and cheese.
Yeah.
I used to do a smashed egg back in the day. I was a big
that's the one I was going to say. Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah, I'm breakfast sandwich for life. Monday to Friday, I probably get it. If I'm here 5 days, I probably get 3 out of 5 days. But if I'm here on the weekend, our breakfast specials get real interesting. But our Benny with the potatoes is so good.
There you have it. There's the food corner on the Real Life podcast. I want to talk a little hockey because this has a tie into the nation as well. That Capitals Rangers game last night.
Hockey has a tie into the nation?
No, like the Capitals Rangers game would have a tie into the nation as well through the website hockeyfights.com, Jay. That game last night was
it's an internet company.
Yes.
Like your shirt, your M-check.
It's a podcast. People don't know I'm wearing a shirt that says Oilers Nation Internet Company.
Or a shirt at all.
That hockey game last night broke your website.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times hockey fights went down last night. So Tyler set the scene, and then we'll go into the business because it was hilarious. All of a sudden there was a scramble to get hockey fights back up last night, and it wasn't just once.
So basically, if you only pay attention to the Oilers, what you'd be missing around the NHL right now is this. Tom Wilson beat the shit out of Pavel Buchnevich in a scrum. Artemi Panarin came into the scrum.
Beat the shit out of Pavel. Whatever. I'm not even going to get into the fucking debate. Go ahead. Go ahead. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Punching someone while their face is in the ice in the back of the head, I consider that beating the shit out of someone personally, or at least attempting to. Artemi Panarin jumps into the scrum. Tom Wilson says, I'm not done there, grabs Panarin by the hair, essentially, throws him to the ice. Tom Wilson stands in the penalty box, flexes, looks like a dipshit for a few minutes.
Flexing?
He stood up in the penalty box. And
do you know the backstory? Do you know the backstory to the flexing, though?
No.
Okay. Well, then there we go. Anyways, carry on.
Anyways, so Wilson... what is it?
God forbid you should tell us the backstory.
It doesn't matter. No context has been provided to this whole event whatsoever. So
could you provide it to me so I could get a balanced understanding?
JR, this is how this thing works. He provides just the Cliff Notes details, and then we provide our context. That's kind of how this thing works.
No, because he's teeing up why hockey fights melted tonight. He's not talking about the incident that led to the game that melted hockey fights. So I'm just when I hear certain takes, I'm like,
no, exactly what Bag Milk said was you tee us up with the basic Cliff Notes version of it, and then we'll all give our sense of it all.
Sense of what? Sense of why hockey fights melted last night?
No, it's nobody cares about hockey fights melting last night. We were just going to talk about around the NHL. If you missed it, this is what's happening if you're just an Oilers-centric hockey fan. Are you still reeling from the little Twitter battle we had after the hockey game when the four?
Are you guys fighting during the holidays? Are you fighting after Clinchmas?
No, not what. I'm. Geez, Chalmers, I think you want me to be like that, but I'm coming after some of the takes that Remchuk has, trying to articulate the event that was. That
doesn't have a take yet. He's just telling us the.
He has a take. He has a take because the tone and the words he's using to describe the event.
So, anyways,
the sexual tension on this podcast with a knife today.
So anyways, where was I? The human rat himself, Tom Wilson, was flexing in the penalty box. And he wasn't suspended for it. NHL proving why it's a joke league and pretty much forgotten south of the border.
A joke league, eh?
I can just see a fucking vein coming out of Jay's head right now.
Be careful. We can't afford the fine a take like that provides.
So the NHL doesn't suspend Tom Wilson. They fine him $5,000. The Rangers are pissed. They put out a statement saying George Peros should be fired. In the meantime, the Rangers go fire their president, fire their GM because their owner's a fucking nut. And then the next night, right off the opening faceoff, bang, 3 fights. I think there ended up being 5 fights in the first 45 seconds of that game. Shout out to our boy Dan, who was probably just moving those fingers as fast as he could, getting all those fights up. And that's everything you need to know is that Tom Wilson basically got the Rangers president and GM fired and then started a brawl over 24 hours or almost 48 hours later.
Okay.
So now, JR,
where should we start with
this is the part where JR gets to say why he thinks what his view of the whole situation is.
Well, no.
And then that's why hockey fights melted down and had to stop working because there were so many fights and so many people.
I want to know why he fought. Why did Tom Wilson go so bananas?
Because he's a psycho.
Jay, are you withholding a key insight into Tom Wilson that you don't want to share with the class?
No, I just don't want to get too deep into the event that led to all this stuff. But to talk about the firing of the coach and the GM, that is
President
more so. That's more so them wanting to separate themselves from that they're. not.
Yeah. Jay, your internet's cutting out a little bit, so I'll hop in. Basically, Frank Saravalli of the DFO Rundown, you may know him from other places as well. He is reporting that this has been stewing for a while, and basically this was the statement, and then Gorton and Davidson, I almost forgot their names, running around saying that they weren't a part of it. That irked the owner and was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. So like this had a bit of a role in the firing. I don't think it had nothing to do with it. It had something to do with it, but this was brewing for a while. James Dolan hasn't been happy with the way things
don't fuck with James Dolan. He purposefully makes the Knicks crappy every year for no reason. Don't fuck with him or he'll ruin the Rangers and fire everybody.
It's funny because isn't there rumors that like isn't Messier coming to join the organization in some capacity?
Ooh.
Yeah. Did you hear his quote? He's like, the reason I like the Washington Capitals or not the Washington Capitals, he goes, I think the team I need to build is a team that can play in the streets and play in the alleys and play in the streets. Basically, like there's
you want a lady in the street, but a freak in the bed that says,
in the bed. Basically, that the Capitals or that the Rangers are soft.
Is Messier coming to be new John Davidson?
I don't know. He should be.
Chris Drury has already been promoted to president and GM, but I could see Messier coming around in like an advisor role, especially if he is like tight with Dolan or something. Absolutely.
He can't. He's got to do those Tide commercials.
And late.
Time for that.
He's a big Tide guy now.
Yep.
Did I ever tell you guys about the time I took a boat tour this summer in Canmore, and the guy who was giving the boat tour, remember the Mark Messier commercial where he's like around Alberta being like, Connor, right? There's the scene where he's fly fishing in the mountains. And the guy who gave me my boat tour was like, I was in charge of setting that up, putting them on a boat, finding a good spot, like doing everything. And he said that when they shot that commercial, the NHL or the people doing the commercial were worried that he wouldn't actually catch a fish, right? So they just brought a fish up in a styrofoam cooler. And by the time they got to the top, it was dead. And then they just threw it in the water. And he says, if you watch the commercial, like the fish Messier pulls out is like dead as fuck, like not even moving.
Oh, no.
Anyways,
Connor pulls a dead fish out of the river.
So you're a big Tom Wilson guy, hey Jay?
I'm just I like a certain type of hockey.
If Tom Wilson did that to Connor McDavid, what would your reaction be? If he pulled Connor McDavid by the hair and threw him to the ice and McDavid was out for the rest of the year?
Okay, let's qualify that. I don't want to get too deep in this, but does Connor McDavid
jump? Why not?
Just fucking wait. Just shut up. Just wait. Does Connor McDavid jump on his back first to qualify getting his hair pulled and throw down to the ice?
Is Connor McDavid only jumping on his back because Tom Wilson's punching Leon Draisaitl in the back of the head while he's face down in the ice?
Okay, so then is Connor McDavid the guy to even go and do that then? Or is that Darnell Nurse?
But it doesn't matter. Is that Panarin's going in to try get a guy off his teammate.
Yeah.
Is hair pulling allowed now? That's something we're applauding. That's like what a noble, good hockey player does, is pull a guy's hair and throw him to the ground when he's not wearing a helmet. That's Bush League. That's shit.
Here's the thing. He does it once, and then Panarin gets up, which as one who's in a vulnerable position would do. And I just don't feel like the second throwdown was, necessary. It's kind of like Jay. I know what's going on with Jay right now. He likes Tom Wilson. He likes the way Tom Wilson plays. I also do. This harkens back to a hit he made in the playoffs, and there's lots of parts of Tom Wilson's game that I really like. I like the fact that he's a $5 million a year guy who can play all aspects of hockey, but it cannot be
I'm not even trying to defend Tom Wilson. Is all it does, and that's why I don't want to get too far into this because I'm gonna upset a bunch of people. So,
okay, then
it's all those things you just screamed and happened and just cried about your Chuck that. Like think about how fast that was, and think about it. Doesn't matter if that's Tom Wilson, if that's Ryan Reeves, if that's any kind of fucking heavyweight, and you're a lightweight jumping on their back, you're not expecting a reaction. That's the fucking issue.
I think you're expecting a reaction within the rules, or you're not expecting to be, again, grabbed by the back of your head and thrown to the ice. I just think Wilson's a fucking lunatic.
So is jumping on a guy's back within the rules?
I think jumping on his back is a little bit of a...
We've already violated the rules.
Okay, but if we're going back to who did it first, it's Wilson punching Buchnevich in the back of the head while he's, helpless in a scrum. There's number one. So I didn't like the play from Wilson. I didn't like that the NHL didn't suspend him. This is the same guy who took a run at Brandon Carlo.
They should have suspended him.
They should have.
They should have.
Season.
I think Tom Wilson should have got suspended. I agree.
I just think the idea that like Panarin's in the wrong for this and people are running around being like, well, someone on the Rangers has to be able to step in and deal with Wilson. Well, fucking Panarin tried, man. And whatever. It's a whole fucking thing. We can move on from it though. So we don't anger
That's
anyone.
why we shouldn't get it. Exactly.
This was really weird.
It is weird. It's super weird, Bag Milk. I got to agree. It's just super weird. We're our hockey podcast, and we're not gonna talk about the biggest story in hockey right now.
What's your?
Because we don't want to upset people.
We can definitely talk about it. Talk away about it.
I was shocked Wilson wasn't suspended. I really was. So then when that like last night kicked off, I didn't expect whatever it was, 6 fights in the first 4.5, but the NHL Department of Player Safety, they kind of made their bet on that one, in my opinion. I think that there's some shit probably would have gone down last night if Tom Wilson was suspended, but not suspending him, just like it lit the fuse.
Yeah. How many games is Buchnevich going to get for cross-checking Mantha in the teeth?
Well, I'm going to say one or two. The New York Rangers just got fined $250,000.
Yeah, but that's for saying what they said against the league. You don't do that.
I think
Buchnevich shouldn't get anything.
So a cross-check to the mouth is a completely legal play within the rules of the game of ice hockey in North America?
Watch the whole clip. What does Mantha do? Mantha gives him 1, 2, 3, 4 whacks in the back of the leg. Buchnevich is not engaging with him whatsoever. The play starts going back the other way. Mantha turns around to come back at Buchnevich, and Mantha is getting ready to cross-check him. Buchnevich in self-defense, he got more of them with his hand than his stick.
Whoa, that's a hot take, man. You got to be in control of your stick. You can't cross-check somebody in the face.
In self-defense. So, Buchnevich goes and takes a run at Mantha. Mantha whacks him a couple times to get his attention to see if he wants to engage.
Buchnevich clean. I'm watching it right now. Okay.
Skates away. Mantha skates away. The play is going away. Then all of a sudden it comes back, and now they're engaged and looking at each other. And Mantha wasn't beelining it for Buchnevich. They just naturally was going that way. And Buchnevich's first reaction, Mantha's hands are down, is to fucking cross-check him in the mouth.
Okay, I'm going to watch I have the clip right here. I'm going to watch it and give my play-by-play what happens. Pavel Buchnevich comes over, shoulder on shoulder into the boards. Buchnevich actually falls down. Mantha gives him a swipe on the head, gives him 1 whack in the back of the leg, 2. There comes number 3, and skates away. Play goes away. Play is going the other way. Yeah, and for some reason, even though the puck is going down the ice one way, Mantha turns around to go back at Buchnevich.
Something happens to have the play shift back.
Not on the replay I'm watching. Every other player is skating north, and Mantha is coming right back south at Buchnevich.
Even if he does, though, it doesn't justify a cross check to the face.
He got more hand than stick to the face.
Doesn't matter.
Look at
no,
this
it does matter. And also,
a cross check to the face is a cross check to the face.
It's like you're talking out of both sides of your mouth right now on this one.
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways.
If the NHL is setting a precedence that Wilson doesn't get suspended for what he does, Buchnevich better not get anything for what he did because the door's open.
Well, that I agree with. I still think Tom Wilson should have been suspended though, and I think
I agree. I agree. Wilson should have been suspended. 100%. I'm never not going to be of that camp.
And again, I'm watching this, and Mantha has 2 sticks going right at Buchnevich as well. Buchnevich just got on top of him. So Buchnevich's options there are self-defense, fight back, or I'm going to let this guy cross-check me in the head instead of me getting him.
Skate away.
No, that's conjecture though. You can say Mantha was
it's not like he's in a tractor being.
But look at his hands. Look at Mantha's hands. Look at where Mantha's hands are going until Buchnevich gets on top of him.
Skate away. He did it the first time.
Yeah, he did it. Well, the thing is, it's just one wrong isn't making another wrong correct.
But the NHL is saying that it is.
And I believe that you guys are talking like, there's a line that I have in my head where I see, I like a lot of hockey. I don't think a lot of what Tom Wilson does is dirty. I think he's one of the biggest hitters. But there's like this fine line that I think in hockey that there's like unwritten rules. Number 1, you don't go for somebody's head with your stick, no matter if it's a cross check, a slash, it does not matter. Number 2, you don't like punch a guy in the fucking head with a glove on when he's not while looking. I hate that. And number three is, if a guy doesn't have a helmet on, the only thing you cannot do is put him in a position where he could bounce his head off the ice. That shit is fucking too far. And
Agreed.
To do it once, to do it twice, like the cross check to the face and the throwing down, they are two different things to me. They in the pantheon of the things that I hate to see in hockey, the head hitting the ice is number one, the worst. A cross check to the face, it's just above the line. You know, it's bad. It shouldn't happen, but it's not as egregious as putting a person in a fucking position where they could bounce their head off of the ice.
But no one's saying that action is good. We all agree that that's terrible.
I was shocked. I was honestly shocked Tom Wilson wasn't suspended. I really was. But if you take that one out, I still think like as a single play, Buchnevich should also be suspended. Now, whether or not George Peros actually suspends him, that's a fucking another conversation entirely. That is a completely separate argument. But as a singular event, I believe it's suspendable, just like I believe Tom Wilson was suspendable.
JR, do you agree with the statement that George Peros is unfit to continue in his role?
Oh,
I'm curious because I just don't know. No,
that was aggressive.
I'm not trying to fuck around. I just want to know what he thinks.
It seems like a wrestling statement more than something you'd get from an NHL team to me.
Yeah. Like I was blown away with that statement. Blown away. And you know that there's repercussions with doing that. You can't attack the league like that. Like you saw when Doug Wilson got fined $100,000 for his comments, just reciting the rules that were used to suspend Rafi Torres, and basically essentially reciting the rules and just saying he doesn't agree with it. And that got him fined. And then I was actually shocked the fine was only $250,000. I was like, that's going to be like $1 million because like that's 10 times, 100 times worse of a statement than what Doug Wilson had to be fined $100,000.
It was like the emotional email that somebody sends after they've been wrong. Like, should have maybe implied the 24-hour rule to that one.
And that's what makes me think it's the owner. That like those are the owner's words because like
of course it's the owner's words.
Yeah, like they get emotional, right? So like I'm like, oh, like then there's no one that can stop that from going out. Where if that was like the coach, there'd be like a PR team or something. There'd be a layer there to stop that from becoming public.
I don't think Bag Milk and I have ever disagreed on something like this. It feels weird.
It's bound to happen, buddy.
You yelled at me. I'm rattled.
Yelled at you. How dare you? That's hardly yelling.
Well, the Rangers are going to be a little short on cash, so they're going to have to save up. So maybe they could take advantage of one of our many promo codes, like the one we have at manscaped.com.
Well done.
We're also extending the offer to Jeff Gorton and John Davidson, who might need to clean themselves up a little bit before their next job interviews. Manscaped.com has you covered. Head over there. Go to the Canadian site. They got the Canadian special at the top. And also, do you guys see this? I'm sitting here now feeling like a peasant with my lawnmower 3.0 because there's the new lawnmower 4.0. They're taking it to another level. Get
room for a third testicle.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially.
But they possibly make it better.
How could they make it better? That's a good question.
It was just announced today. It's the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. New features include multi-function on-off switch. Don't even know what that means. It's so
personal
futuristic.
tax services.
Yeah, but it's 6-minute ads.
A travel lock.
7-minute ads.
Wireless charging, 2 adjustable guards, tri-level charging and power indicator, 4,000K LED spotlight with a diffuser. What? Overcharging and over discharging protection circuit, 2-toned black finish. Lawnmower 4.0 promo code real life at manscaped.com gets you 20% off and free shipping.
Pretty soon we're going to have a chip put in our heads by Manscaped and your balls will trim themselves as soon as you get an update. You know, it's going to happen.
I don't know. I mean, I want to shave my balls, but you have a 1-tone. This is a 2-tone. I don't know if I want the second tone. Fucking write that down. The 4.0 will be 2-toned, or I'm not the founder of Manscaped. Imagine was the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm reading an interesting story right now.
During a podcast.
Yeah, I am. Big multitasking. Yeah, I'm also watching the Jays game at the same time. 0-0 bottom of the first.
Interesting.
ESPN, this is from Sean Shapiro, Dallas Stars reporter. ESPN is courting Wayne Gretzky to join their broadcasting team when they take over the NHL rights.
What?
Anyway, so Wayne Gretzky potentially being added into the mix on ESPN. I don't think it happens. Like, he seems like a guy who's pretty happy with where he is with the Oilers.
I can't have this, to be honest. I can't have it. I need playoff Wayne. That's what I need. I'm selfish.
They should let him into the arena and just let him be there the whole playoff run this year, because he was the best part of the crowd.
Yes. Yeah. Put him and I want to put him 6 rows up from the bench so that when we get the wide angle, we can see him up there. You know? I don't like it. ESPN can kick rocks. I need Wayne around for playoffs.
So
doesn't he have a really long-term deal with the Oil where it's probably not exclusive though?
Yeah, it might not be. Apparently ESPN or the sources with this situation aren't sure if he's interested, but ESPN hasn't been told no by Gretzky. So maybe he just hasn't sent the email.
It's good for the game if he does it.
Oh, it would be great.
I don't know if it is.
He's so marketable. Everybody knows Wayne Gretzky, whether you're a hockey fan or not.
Americans being introduced to the game or reintroduced, having the great one talk. Oh yeah.
Think about our boy Gabriel in Brazil. If it wasn't for Wayne Gretzky being huge enough and putting hockey on the map to have everyone hates Chris want to make an episode about going to a Rangers game, like Gabriel doesn't become an Oilers fan.
I don't know. I'm not sure if he's. Does he have the flair? And I know that sounds dumb because he's the great one, but does he have the broadcasting flair and ability to draw people in with his analysis? Or is this just something where it's great for promo, it's great on the billboard, tune into intermissions with the great one, Wayne Gretzky.
Wow, I'll do it.
But then when you actually tune in after a month, are you going to be meh?
No.
So let me get this right. You like Pavel Buchnevich more than Wayne Gretzky.
Wow.
I just think it's undeniable who was the better Ranger.
We should all refuse to talk to each other. We should all refuse to talk to each other for the next 4 minutes and just have dead air.
So this episode is called Your Remchuk Hates Gretzky.
No, I just wonder if I wonder if he's actually going to take it. I think it's probably a moot
I don't
point.
think he will. Why would yeah.
And also if you're ESPN, I think you might be able to get we're talking about the NHL's equivalent to Charles Barkley, right? That's who ESPN and TNT should be going at. And Wayne isn't that. Wayne isn't that guy.
You're talking about the best hockey player of all time. Charles Barkley, it's not that.
No, what I'm saying is ESPN and TNT are trying to find hockey's equivalent to Charles Barkley in terms of someone who can, in a way transcend the way the broadcasts are done, the way Chuck and Shaq did. And what I'm saying is Wayne isn't Chuck for a handful of reasons. One, Chuck isn't the best basketball player of all time. Wayne's the best hockey player of all time. Okay. But number two, Charles Barkley.
That's right.
Is Wayne Gretzky?
I didn't know we called him Chuck.
We call him Chuck.
If you're tight
I didn't know we called him I didn't know we called him the best basketball player of all time either.
Yeah, that's sus. You did. Tell her you're Chuck.
When?
Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley threw Charles Oakley to the floor by his hair, and we're not talking about it.
I said Charles Barkley is not the greatest basketball player of all time. Wayne Gretzky is the best hockey player of all time. That's I'm comparing the two here in terms of, whatever. What's the point of me even having fucking takes for the rest of this podcast?
Is Charles Barkley better at hockey than Wayne Gretzky is at basketball? That's what I want to know.
Oh, that's good. I'd like to
We're going deep. You got to think Wayne can. Charles couldn't skate, but Wayne could hit a layup.
I was so impressed when they had that race with Pele, Sugar Ray Leonard, I can't remember who else, and Wayne Gretzky. And
the 80s were a different time, eh? Just make them race.
Yeah, they don't they got to do that kind of stuff again. That's good content.
Wasn't Wayne Gretzky 15 years younger than everyone else in that race or something?
He might have been. But the Pro Stars cartoons. What about reuniting the cartoon with Bo Jackson and Wayne Gretzky and Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
We got to do that stuff again.
Who would that be
Carnival champions?
It'd be Connor McDavid. It would be LeBron James. And it would
you need a multi-sport guy, though.
It would be Mike Trout or Ohtani.
Because the thing about Pro Stars, if you guys remember, is that Bo Jackson had a variety of skills because he was a multi-sport guy.
You got to get that religious quarterback. What's his nuts? Who went and played
Baker's
baseball?
Mayfield, my boy.
You're talking
the
Tim
other one,
Tebow
too.
one, yeah.
Tim Tebow.
But he's now
Whoa.
back playing football at a new position.
He
Tight
is.
end.
They signed him too today. Eh?
No, they didn't.
They
That
did.
means nothing.
Still.
In the NFL, being signed means nothing, unfortunately.
You know, Chalmers, speaking of foosball, I saw an interview with Ricky Williams the other day.
Oh,
like,
he's the best.
He's so well-spoken and interesting.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't believe it. He was on the No Jumper podcast. I think it was No Jumper. And he was like explaining why he signed with Master P. And remember that crazy ass contract that he signed?
Yeah, with the Saints. Yeah.
And he was explaining like why it made perfect sense at the time. His signing bonus was like the largest in NFL history or something. And he was like, that's all I need. I just needed that money. And then I want to keep my salary low so I can play in a good team. I was like, Ricky Williams, you're not who I was led to believe.
No, he's awesome. He's really like he's a good speaker. I've heard of him on a lot of podcasts, and he should have his own podcast. To be honest with you, not like
CFL legend
Yeah.
Ricky Williams.
Yeah. I thought he was like not like Johnny Manziel, but just like a problem child. Like I thought he was a troubled dude. He didn't come off as a troubled dude at all.
No,
he was just like the first guy to get caught up in like smoking weed, and when smoking weed wasn't
smoking weed, but also like there was a lot of different things he did, right? Like he was explaining how he wanted to be the all-time best in the NCAA, so he stayed in college football for another year, and like people were giving him so much shit. He's like, I thought being the number one NCAA guy was like pretty amazing. I thought that was really interesting. He's like, people were so mad at me for not getting drafted.
Yeah, he was really eccentric too. Like he would just take off. He would like not show up, not answer his phones and stuff. Like he was like that kind of thing, right? Oh yeah, he was.
He's a recluse. He's a recluse.
He lived in a tent in Australia. When he left, when he left the game, he lived in a tent in Australia.
In his very first interview after signing as a rookie, he did it with his helmet on. He didn't want to be out there and feel like naked without a helmet on, so he wore his helmet.
Yeah,
that's
cool. He wasn't even playing in a game.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah. Anyways,
sounds cool.
Yeah, it's cool, eh?
Cool.
You know what else is cool?
Thoughts?
Fucking Oilers just stomping on the Canucks at will, and they're just going to march into the playoffs. Then we all get to have playoff parties. It's going to be the shit.
You know, this episode's all sorts of fucked up when it is indeed Wanye bringing us back onto the rails.
Well, the Yaremchuk just said the fact that we could clinch home ice tonight is amazing, but like the McCentury is real. It is happening.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna. I think he could get it by the weekend.
Josh T. Park, dear friend of the show, tweeted a string of McDavid facts.
Mm-hmm.
Shocking. It's like if Connor McDavid didn't have a left leg or an eye, he'd still be the best NHL player. And the second assists qualify him to be third in league scoring and all this crazy shit.
You want some McDavid facts from Josh T. Park?
Hit me.
McDavid's 1.82 points per game is on pace to finish as the best over a full season since Mario Lemieux in 1995-96.
Yep. What's most impressive about that is if you think about the shape Connor McDavid is in, and you think about the shape poor Mario was in that season, being ill and whatnot, it's insane. Mario Lemieux's records have stood the test of time.
Number 2, McDavid's assist alone could finish third in the NHL scoring this year.
Oh.
Number 3, McDavid's even strength points alone are still top 10 in NHL scoring. He has 61.
Put that in your Corsi or M-Chuck.
Mm-hmm. We'll build a spreadsheet here. McDavid's assist alone would be the scoring leader on 27 of 32, 31 teams.
Bunch of bitches.
5, McDavid's current lead in the scoring race is 18 points. Draisaitl's second place. He's behind by 18. That would be the biggest gap between 1 and 2 since Yager and Solani in 1998-99. They had
who? Never even heard of them. That's what I say.
Number 6, McDavid has 2 or more points in 29 games this year. Hang on. McDavid has 2 or more points game. This is a weird phrasing by Josh Park on this one. He has more multi-point games this year than he does single or 0 point games in total. There. Number 7, McDavid's point total from his 3+ point games alone equals 56. Good enough for 14th in NHL scoring. McDavid has 6 4+ point games this season. Draisaitl has 5. No other player has more than 3. 9 teams have 0.
9 teams have 0, and he has 6. Bunch of losers.
If McDavid finishes with exactly 100 points in 56 games, that's 1.78 points per game. That would be a 145-point pace over 82 games, the most since Pat LaFontaine in 1992-93. He had 148 points that year.
La 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 la.
What the
was that all of them? No.
One more. If this was an 82-game season, McDavid didn't register another assist all year, he would still be top 21 assist season over the past 5 years.
Josh Park had to work on his phrasing a little on this one, I think.
Big English guy.
Also, I had this one pulled up, and then I have a Josh Park story. McDavid has 53 points since March 1st. So if you took away the first 2 months of the season, McDavid would still be top 20 in NHL scoring. If you took away 2 months of the shortened season. Wow. Also,
our boy Wheaton Oil also had a hilarious McDavid stat. He got 51 points in the time that Evan Bouchard sat out as a healthy scratch. March 1st, getting a goal on Tuesday, McDavid had 51 points over that time.
Bouchard won't get 51 points in his career. Bless his socks.
No kidding.
He might actually.
Well, Tip pulled him out, and again, this is Wheaton Oil's joke, but Tippett pulled him out because he didn't get an assist on McDavid, or didn't get an assist from McDavid on that goal. I like that one. That was a good tweet.
Earlier today, Josh Park texted me and he goes, "Hey man, question for you. Is there a site to see all the multi-point games from the league this season?" And I said, "Yeah, dig around NHL.com. That might show you something." Like straight up, I meant like go to NHL.com and go to the player stats and they should have it. And he just responded, "Did you really just send me the NHL website?" And then like 10 minutes later, he goes, "Oh, I found it on the NHL website."
He also asked me the exact same question. So he's just copy and pasting these questions out to people. Now I'm a little bit upset that Josh T. Park didn't come to me first.
It wasn't authentic. I thought it was a unique message to you.
Yeah, I thought it was we were having a genuine moment that he was needing my help, but I guess not.
That's unfortunate.
It really is. Josh T. Park, come on, dude.
I know we usually don't get into this on this pod or any pod on the nation, but no one here seriously watched Big Brother Canada this year.
No,
I'm catching up. I started watching it on the Global app.
Okay.
Problem is I can't fast forward it, so I'm having to watch it pretty slow. But
just skip the Sunday episodes or Monday episodes.
Yeah. So here's the problem is I also watch Global in the morning, and they ran a promo today for the final 3, and I'm still at about 6. So I know kind of the writing's on the wall, and I think I could kind of write how it's going to go from here. But I have to admit, man, it's really good. Like, it's really good.
I PVR'd the whole season. I've got the whole thing saved, and I might get to it. We'll see.
Chalmers, there's someone from the season who said they'll come on our pod. Is that something that interests you?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We should be able to get that done.
Is it our boy from Red Deer?
Yeah. I've been DMing with him a little bit, and he said he's down, and I think like legally he has to wait till the end of the season or some shit.
Yeah.
But I'm just interested. Like, I don't even really want to talk about the season. I want to talk about like the Big Brother experience a little bit, because like I've never talked to anyone who was like on the show and shit. I'd love to just know like a little bit of the ins and outs. I know he obviously can't tell us everything, but I think that'd be a fun conversation since we do dedicate some time in the summer to talking Big Brother USA.
I needed a break from Big Brother, to be honest. I feel like
this season was so good in Canada.
Well, I do have it recorded. I might get to it, but like I needed a break after BB All Stars. It was just so bad. That season was so bad.
Terrible.
Bag Milk, do you know why this season was good for Canada? It's because the seasons I like the most are the ones where like the minute something comes out between like 2 or 3 people, and then they call a house meeting, and you just know it's going to be just fireworks.
Yeah, I love a house meeting.
Lot of house meetings this year. A lot, like especially in the beginning, not so much now, but and just like a lot of emotion, just a lot of like emotions that boil up, and you can tell in real time. Like even during the competitions, they're getting in these huge fights, right? Like yelling at each other. It's good. It's the best Canadian one I've ever seen, because I haven't seen any of them.
It's a big opportunity for Big Brother Canada because the US one has sucked for the last couple of years.
Big time. I'd say the last few seasons, if you were to bunch together the last like 3 seasons of Big Brother Canada and the last 3 seasons of Big Brother US, Canada's blown them out of the water pretty consistently.
Good for us. Maybe I got to make the switch. I
generally do.
It's the timing. If they did it in the summer, and I guess they're competing with US, it's because it's always during like the hockey time. I only got so much time to devote to television, and I've got to make sure I'm watching Shadow and Bone. So I got to put that as a priority over Big Brother.
It's also absolutely hilarious, the brand placement in Big Brother Canada. Like,
it's the best. They open a Wendy's in the one room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the best one was like they make the haves have a food fight, and then the have-nots have to clean it up purely so that they can have this big tray of like,
it's brought to you by Sunlight.
Come out. And I'm like, oh, okay, I figured out why they just did that little hunk of
genius.
Shit.
Why not?
It was good.
I like that they just lean into it. Why not?
Yeah, embrace it.
The last thing I had written down on my prep sheet here is, I don't know if you saw this, but Twitter is launching they're testing, not quite officially launching it, but they're testing a tip jar for accounts. So at the top of every account, there's going to be a little tip jar, and you can go, let's say I'm a big fan of Bag Milk, which I am. So this isn't too much of a hypothetical. And I go to his account and I click the tip jar. It'll say, do you want to pay with PayPal or Cash App or whatever's available to you? And I can send Bag Milk $10 and be like, thanks for doing everything you do, man. Love you.
Well, I will be flexing that. Please tip me, but I only accept Dogecoin. Thank you.
I'm thinking of saying that if you tip me, I promise to spend 100% of the money on beer. And that'll be my bit, is if you want to tip me, buy me a beer, you can tip me, buy me a beer. But anyone have a take on this, or is it kind of weird?
I mean,
they're trying to bring OnlyFans into Twitter.
And Twitter has promised 100% of the revenue goes to the person running the account. Twitter takes no cut.
I mean, I know I jokingly said it's Dogecoin, but that's what Dogecoin was invented for.
It was a tipping currency.
People were tipping each other on Reddit. Just even when it had zero monetary value, people were tipping each other like, oh, I like the joke. I like the meme. I like whatever. Here's a little tip. So it is interesting that Twitter would do that. Obviously, it's going to create a weird vibe on Twitter of people just flexing their own tip jar and being like, you want to enjoy my tweets? I wonder if that's going to mean like a bunch of big accounts go private that weren't necessarily private, so they try to get something out of it.
Did you guys see the Jose Canseco screenshots that came out where he tweeted out, hey guys, looking for a NFT token developer, please DM. And this guy Ben goes, I'm Ben, I'm a token developer, please DM me. And then the next screenshot is a screenshot of the DM, and he just writes, Ben, are you a token developer? And the guy just responds, no way, Jose.
It's so good.
Got him. So good. Jose Canseco's such a tit.
Oh, he's wild,
so
man.
silly.
Remember all this stuff when he was tweeting out how like A-Rod cheats on J-Lo, like I have the facts, all this stuff. And then they broke up and he tweeted like, J-Lo, I'm a good man, I'll treat you right, or something like that. It was so good.
And then when Melinda and Bill broke up, he said Melinda Gates will be dating A-Rod by the end of the summer.
Oh yeah, he did say that. Also, he used to end all his tweets with like, contact Morgan for more info. Then Morgan and him had a falling out. And then he has like, please do not contact Morgan regarding anything that has to do with me.
Oh, no.
So I probably said this in the past, but I'm going to make this recommendation one more time because I just listened to the album on iTunes from front to back again. And if you haven't yet watched The Lonely Island, which is Andy Samberg and that Yorma Tacoma, to the Bash Brothers documentary about Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire when they're with the Oakland A's. It's 30 minutes. It's great music, and it's a fucking hilarious watch. I recommend it for everybody who wants to just sit there and laugh. It's so, they say so much in the songs, and it goes by so fast that you almost have to like, you'll never catch everything the first time. It's really clever. It's fucking awesome.
I love those guys, the Lonely Island guys.
Oh my God.
They're
and
geniuses.
the music is really good. And they have like Sia, they have like Sterling K. Brown in like a couple of songs. Like they got Haim, I think they have in one of the songs too. Like, and
the comedy generally holds up too. Like those were funny when I was in like junior high, and I still get a chuckle out of them.
I would still rock out time on a boat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Can I read you guys 3 Jose Canseco tweets that came in a row, but over the course of 12 days?
Yeah.
March 28th. Aliens told me that the meek will inherit the earth after the rich destroy it and colonize another planet. April 4th. You can't control Bigfoot or aliens, so you can't control me either.
Sure.
April 10th. Fell asleep. April 10th, fell asleep and woke up to 3 female aliens probing me for crypto info.
Jesus Christ.
Wow, man.
All right.
This dude lives on another planet.
And then the next one, happy 420 to everyone except Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah. He at one time was trying to sell 10 spots on a expedition into the BC forest to find Bigfoot, and it was like $10,000 a piece.
This is what ruined Les Stroud. Remember Survivor Man?
I love Les Stroud too.
But he went bananas and like got super into Bigfoot and like started doing a Bigfoot show with people that even the Bigfoot community were like,
oh, that's a bummer.
And now
Survivor
he's
Man was
gonzo.
so good.
He's gone now.
Is the theory behind Bigfoot that there are many of them, or is he really one like organism?
No. They're like the theory of Bigfoot is that it's like a species
that we just like aren't discovering, or that they're like
they live in remote areas.
They hide very well.
Yeah, they're clever.
Haven't you ever seen Harry and the Hendersons?
No.
An old movie, old movie, 80s movie.
I think
Great
you could
movie.
befriend Bigfoot if you found one of them. Yeah.
Interesting.
I think he'd probably knock your fucking head off. He'd be like bigger than Chewbacca.
So okay. So if you
Not
saw
you
Bigfoot,
personally, but like anyone.
so if you see Bigfoot, you're advising caution and in approaching Bigfoot.
Look, if you guys are going to threaten each other with Bigfoot beatings, we're going to have to end this podcast because it's already weird. And if you're going to be starting to use a mythical creature as I'll have Bigfoot kick your dick off, I'll have Bigfoot poke your eyes out. I don't know.
That had nothing to do with knocking off actually JR or Jay or the Squire's head. It was just anybody that went up to him. That Bigfoot probably isn't just going to be like, hey, dude, want to go get a fucking smoothie?
So I'm trying, so I'm taking that and I'm trying to reference that to hockey. So
Jesus,
safely,
so much coffee.
Safely approach. Do not approach or poke the Bigfoot.
But if you do,
especially, or jump on its back.
Because if you do, you might get the claws.
Yeah.
All right.
Tyler, I just want to ask you something, buddy.
Yeah, what's up?
I saw some good news on your Twitter feed, my friend. You are you are booked in for yourself to get yourself a vaccine next week.
That's me slapping my bicep. Give me the needle. I'm so excited. I got in I'm getting in on Monday to go get my jab. I'm Moderna.
Respect.
I'm happy that you did it, man. And
I'm so stoked. I'm like jittery. I'm so excited. I hate needles. I'm deathly afraid of needles. But I don't even care. Let's do it.
No, you're doing the right thing, man.
How about millennials just flooding the system today?
I'm thinking I might tailgate outside the pharmacy, like bring a grill, some beers.
At one point, my friend was on the Alberta website, or City of Edmonton or City of Alberta. I don't know. He was trying to get a shot just in Edmonton, and it had the number of people listed before him and how long he would be on the computer waiting to book his shot. And there was 55,902 people ahead of him, and it was going to take an hour, they estimate.
Oh, yeah. That's been flooding social media. Like that's the thing that people need to remember. Like, sure, go through that route, but I also strongly urge you to just call the pharmacies directly and book appointments there, because here's the thing. The government has opened it up now for 12 plus. We are now in another lockdown, and the only way to get out of this and get out of this quickly is to just get our shots. And now there's no excuses. So just go and do your part. And if you go through the government website, which is fine as a first line of attack to get it, great. But there's some people I'm saying that aren't getting their shots who booked through it until like the end of May. So that's 3 weeks from now. And then the effects of that shot is 2 weeks after that. So essentially, they're 5 weeks away from being able to help the situation. So I strongly encourage people to try to even move a little bit faster if you can and call pharmacies directly to see if you can get in sooner, because we want the clock to start sooner on your vaccination starting to take effect.
So that's what I did.
I was going to say, just for Jay's point, is that's what I did. I got my first shot on Sunday. And that's exactly how I did it. It was a lot of phone calls, and I had to be willing to just jump at a spot that was open. So
I strongly agree with JR. And the reason I strongly agree with JR is I'm okay with my golf getting taken away. I'm okay with the things that happen to us as adults, but do it for the fucking kids, man. My 7 and 10-year-old just got told they can't go to school with their friends anymore. They just got told that they can't play baseball. Spring hockey has been shut down. That, and they're resilient. They don't give a shit, but it's up to us as adults and as, educated people to go and do the right thing for what's right for us. Also, I understand skeptics. I do.
I don't.
No, I mean, you got to say the right thing, right? I don't really understand how you can be skeptical if you've actually done your research. But if you're just listening to somebody, somebody on Facebook, and that's now all of a sudden your opinion, it's just not the right thing to do, right? And so it breaks my heart that my kids were just living a pretty normal life, and now it's just not like, for 3 weeks. I mean, I know it's fine, but I can deal with it. My kids are resilient to deal with it, but all the people that their kids can't go to school now, and it's going to just upend their lives for the next 3 weeks. It's fucking devastating for people, not to be able to go to work, not be able to make a living, because now they have to care for their kids and there's just no available care, or they don't want to put grandparents at risk or anything like that. It can be devastating for people, man. So this is when you look at the only way out, this is the only way out. So
good for you, Tyler.
Right there.
I'm excited.
Good for you, Tyler.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, man.
Okay, here's how we end it. Every day, every podcast. Now that I'm the father of this podcast, I know Wanye is too.
The Podfather?
Did you just fucking declare yourself father podcast?
Dad.
No. I'm the father on this podcast. I'm going to give a dad joke at the end of every podcast just to make you laugh and let you go home and tell your kids.
Is this like the time where you're going to keep it 100 and you said it one time and then Jay never mentioned Irish butter again?
Yeah, but this one's easy. Dad jokes are easy. So, Jay, why do fathers take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing?
In case I get a hole in one?
My man.
All right, Dad. What?
Okay, since you already knew the answer to that one, then I'll say another one. I'm afraid
Is this the joke?
The calendar. Its days are numbered. I don't know.
You wouldn't get that bag, though. You don't have a kid.
That's true. I don't.
I love dad jokes. I try to say them every morning. I walk a bunch of kids to school.
You walk a bunch of kids to school?
That sounds vaguely illegal.
In my neighborhood, we have my 2 boys, and then the next door neighbor, there's 2 girls, and then there's a boy down the street, and then 2 kids come from just down the street, and they all come to mine. Since we have the dog, I walk with them, and so I give them a dad joke every morning. Kicks off the morning real well.
Oh, look at you setting the tone for a good day.
Yeah.
We could also end off by saying that Justin Bieber just released tour dates for 2022 and nothing in Edmonton. Really upsetting.
Come on, Biebs.
We
going to
deserve
Georgia?
it.
We might have to go on a roadie.
We're going on roadies in 2022. We are going on all the roadies.
We'll be vaccinated and licking faces.
Oh,
JR, you golfing today?
No, sir.
Too bad.
I know. I've got because of the weather, I have to do some backyard maintenance.
Charles, you looking for someone to golf with?
Well, no, we have
Never mind.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Pavel Buchnevich suspended 1 game.
Just so stupid. It's so fucking dumb. I don't even think he had 2 hands on his stick. Like,
oh my God.
Go watch the fucking clip. He didn't
I watched it like 7 times last night.
What, with one eye closed?
Oh my God.
Jesus, Murphy. This is a fucking podcast and a half.
Everybody's all rattled about the restrictions, Wanye.
Well, various things. Well, yeah, everyone's losing their minds. It's great.
Last night after golf, I wanted to go on a patio and have a beer at my neighborhood pub, Uncle Glenn's. But guess what? Wasn't allowed to.
Oh, they got good pizza there.
Oh, great pizza.
Before we wrap up, need to give some love to our friends at Twig and Berries who, when you get your vax and you're ready to go, you want to be looking good when you can get back out on the town. Twig and Berries is there to help you with that. When things get back to normal, look good and feel good as well with their nutsack underwear. Those things are fucking comfy. I guarantee you it's got the Yaremchuk stamp of approval, which I now understand might not mean a lot to a lot of people, but still it's there.
Yes,
They got a ton of cool collaborations with their nutsack underwear. They got great clothing as well. I also got one of their hoodies the other day, the Connor hoodie. It is comfy and that thing feels like rain repellent as well. Like durable. I love it. Anyways, promo code NATION15 gets you 15% off and free shipping in Canada on orders over $75. You gotta love it. twigandberries.ca.
Oh my God, your Remchuk. I've watched it again. Okay, I will give you Mantha turns back.
I gotta go.
I gotta go too. This is outrageous.
Buchnevich is already loaded to give Mantha something.
Shooting from the hip. He's ready to go. I love it.
Already loaded.
Please let us know what you thought of the tension on this podcast, Nation Real Life on socials. Please, I would love some feedback on this one because it was very weird to participate in.
I'd like to see what. There's two things about Brett. I'd like to see what Surveyor Brett comes up with. But what Turner? What's the account? Turner
Watson.
Turner Watson. When he made that like infographic,
no context, real life.
The no context spoiler. Oh God, that was fantastic. That's like the opening of Ozark. That was cool.
I want to say, just for the record, that Tuesday night Twitter conversation that we had after the 4-on-3, that was a lot of fun. I had a good time with everybody. And just for the record, me and JR have known each other since we were 10 years old or 11 years old. I love that man with every fiber of my being. And when I get mad and we get mad at each other, it does not matter.
No.
Always love him. And so when Alan Kramer comes into the thread and is like, Chalmers, we're just joking around. Buddy, I don't give two squirts of piss. I love every bit of this. Fucking rag on me. Act like I'm some kind of sensitive boy or something.
How in the bag were you to pour a rum and coke into your shoe, drink it?
It wasn't at all.
So you just did that?
I didn't have the ingredients.
You got called out.
I got called out
and he delivered.
I didn't have the ingredients for a neon Leon or whatever it is. And so I improvised your Chuck. It's called thinking outside the box and thinking inside a shoe.
You should be suspended for doing that.
So I looked over at my elliptical bike or my bike and I saw a shoe and I thought, pour a drink in a shoe and drink it.
Really putting the immune system out of work out here.
My own stuff. It's already. I can't give myself a disease.
Okay. I'm wrapping this up. I don't even know where to go anymore. Wanye's already gone. He was so sick of the podcast he left. All right. This has been episode 279 of the Real Life Podcast. Shout out to Oodle Noodle, Twig and Berries, and Manscaped.
4-on-3.
It just worked out so fucking perfect too because it never happens. It never happens. And then I tweet out 4-on-3 coming and Chalmers is rock hard. And then instantly Connor, Leon, boom, in
4 seconds. Oh my God. It was beautiful.
I hope they score on another one today.
Connor 3 points. Let's go. Keep it.
Yeah. Connor 3 points. Let's get it. All right. This episode's over. I'm done.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.